All right. Well, good afternoon and welcome to the end of day market review for Thursday, June 28th, 2012. My name is Jason Waugh, one of the trainers and success coaches with Ideal Trading Lifestyle. I'll be walking us through today's presentation. Now, before we get started, we are going to ask that you just take a quick minute and give this disclaimer a quick read. Once you're done, we'll go ahead and get started with our agenda. All right, so our agenda is to start things off by taking a look at the market news. Obviously, right now, whatever's going on from a fundamental standpoint is going to be outweighing and really directing the US markets. We are going to then go ahead and take a look at some technical analysis. We'll be doing this by taking a look at the S&P 500 as well as the TSX. While we're looking at these two indices, we'll be looking for support and resistance levels. We'll also be identifying their MACD location. We're then going to go ahead and take a look at the volatility index, which will include just identifying where the volatility is at and what we can expect in the upcoming next couple of days because of where the volatility is. We'll go through our watch list picks and then answer any questions that you might have. So, starting off with the market news. Now, the markets did end up declining today. This was after 2 good days of trading, Tuesday and Wednesday. But with the concerns that are coming out of Europe and how they're weighing on our banks, we did end up with a decline. Now, the decline did start off a lot worse. By the time the markets ended up closing, we did end up giving back some of our losses, but definitely not all of them. So all in all, we ended up with the Dow Jones down 0.20%, with the S&P 500 down 0.21%. Oil declined 2.44%, putting it down to $78.25 per barrel. Gold also declined 1.39%. This put it to $1556.50 per ounce. So definitely had some losses across the board there. Here we are looking at a chart for the S&P 500. You can see that we're currently almost dab smack in the middle between our most obvious levels of support and resistance. What we have here is room to grow upwards to around 1360. Now, whether this is going to happen or not is obviously going to be very dependent on what's going to end up coming out of the news, but it does have some ground that it'll need to cover in order to get back up to that previous cycle high. The MACD is rising bullish, however, with the black line just about to meet resistance at its blue line. So it is still meeting resistance. If we have a crossover there, we can start to be a little bit more optimistic with some growth. Some things to keep in mind, though. The Canadian markets are going to be closed on Monday, but more specifically, the U.S. markets will be also taking a day off for Independence Day on July 4th. Now, historically, trading has been slow within that week. It picks up a tiny little bit for the rest of June, but volume definitely does get a lot slower and a lot more monotonous throughout the months of July and August. So expect positions to take a little bit more time with the lower trading volume. Things just seem to go a little bit slower during the summertime. All right, taking a look at the TSX. The TSX is just coming off of support now. This is its third day. It's doing okay. It is rising bearish with the black line up against its blue reference line, but it's got room to grow to about 11,500. So although the TSX is all in all weaker with it being bearish and whatnot, it is at least showing a little bit more strength today. Excuse me. All right, taking a look at the volatility indicator, we can see that this guy is at 19.68. So it still really is just dancing around that 20 mark, which is where we start to put up our guard and get concerned with what's going on with the volatility. Yes, it is down below 20 right now, but that's not to say that it's not going to be up above 20 tomorrow. So we are going to be exercising caution, making sure that we're not starting to bite into larger positions than we really could handle. And we're going to be making sure that we're getting out of the markets as quickly as possible. Anybody who's able to get in and out of the markets within a day is really doing well. Holding on to those positions for longer than a day, you are starting to expose yourself to more risk than you might want on your plate. All right, there are no basic watch list picks today, so we're going to fast forward through that. Unfortunately, there's just nothing to look at with the declines that we had today. So I just wanted to remind us of some upcoming customer events. Obviously, we've got our daily market wrap ups every weekday. We've also got a weekly ITL review. This happens every Wednesday at 10 o'clock Central. And then we've got our monthly options refresher, which will be happening August 9th, which is the Thursday at 10 o'clock. So there's a couple things for you to plug into for either your ITL customers or for your options customers. Otherwise, this has been the end of day market review. We will chat with you tomorrow. Ciao for now.